Dearest friends and family, your friend, your brother, me, Haji Roshan Khan, in the raw. RK's Guyana Free Media. And I'm your friend and brother and host, Haji Dr. Roshan Khan. And out in the cold, a reading, Kaietuer News, March 5th, 2021. Defenders of election rigging, a Marxist and Freudian analysis. It is 1 year since the failure of the fraud designed and perpetuated by elements of the Election Commission and the PNC and the AFC, Freddie Kissoon says in his article of March 5th, a columnist in the Kaietuer News. Almost 99% of the global writings on the 5 months journey into Mephistophelian oceans in which you get lost, depict the PNC and AFC as the Draconian creatures like Dracula, bloodsuckers, and elements of the GCOM Secretariat as the Macbethian witches that shaped the evil. Now, Macbeth is a play written by Shakespeare, the great and famous playwright of England. So, in that play, there were lots of witches. So here we are having Freddie Kissoon comparing them to Macbethian witches that shaped the evil. Such an evil work of witches. Though that is an accurate description, there must always be emphasis on other dimensions that, when given profound analytical treatment, will reveal the encouragement given to the perpetrators by the silent, subtle support of certain class and ethnic elements in Guyana, Freddie Kissoon says. The curiosity will forever remain. What could and would have happened if these sections of Guyana's class structure and ethnic anatomy had openly rejected the rigging? Would the PNC and the AFC have become so psychologically exhausted that the Faustian instincts would have died long before the month of July? The analysis to follow looks at two aspects of Guyanese society that, though voiced no open, overt endorsement of the tampering with the results, their silence were deliberate and Machiavellian driven by race and class preferences. So he's saying, well, some of them were not directly involved in the actual thing, that their silence was like murder, so to say. This one comment will not suffice. One common column will not be enough, so he has to do part 1 and part 2. So this is part 1. So there will be a part 2. The two compartments are the light-skinned Creole stratum and the middle class in general that opposed Burnham's drift to socialism and supported Walter Rodney and the WPA because they felt their class status was better assured under a WPA regime than Burnham's eccentric movement towards black dictatorship, Freddie Kissoon says. The dialects of class structure in Guyana are very interesting. It is not conceptually possible to separate these two aspects of Guyanese society and treat each one separately. The mulatto ethnic group was able to attract non-Africans from the Guyanese middle class and petty bourgeois. For example, many elitist middle-class Portuguese and light-complexioned Indians were essentially part of the ethnic mulatto world of which light-complexioned Indians like Lionel Lockwood and those who were part of Peter de Gar's party, the United Force, including some pandits I know, stand out. In the late 20th century, the Indian light-complexioned middle class was essentially led by people like Rupert Roopnarine of the WPA. Let us start with the mixed ethnic group and apply Freud to them. Not Freud, the father of psychology. Do you think that it was an oversight that not one person volunteered to write an article in the weekly column in the diaspora, condemnatory of the shenanigans of the PNC and AFC injected in the year-long no confidence motion controversy and the 5-month election impasse was carried? So let's see where he's trying to get to here, ladies and gentlemen. The light-complexioned African middle class in Guyana have some formidable Freudian ghosts deeply embedded in their collective mind. They do not want rural Indians, non-Christian Indians, dark-skinned Indians, and the People's Progressive Party to govern them. This mental horizon is not related to ethnic hate. So he's saying they're not hateful. Well, I think he's coming up to protectionism of their class structure in the economy and for their own personal good feelings, so to say. So it has nothing to do with ethnic hate, this fair-skinned set of mulatto kinds of people. He is saying they do not hate or dislike rural or dark-skinned Indians in the PPP out of ethnic superiority. So they're not superior. Let's see what he's getting to. They simply feel deep in their Freudian mind that such people are not suitable for governance of West Indian Creole societies and make better business people, and they're a better class for business. And so the rural folks cannot be a part really of their society and establishment, as far as I'm reading here, other than to be good supporters of their commerce as purchasers in whatever capacity. And I'm seeing where he's coming from. It is quite obvious to Guyanese who follow the news where the mulatto folks can be found in women groups, the professional classes, highly concentrated complex businesses, academia, and a section of the print media. So you see the man is zeroing in on these mulatto groups who are not really racist against Indians. And he's identifying them. They will even fight for the general country, but they like to have their own groupings, or what Jenny Jing would refer to as class groups. It was this struggle that engineered the merger between the PNC and WPA, opposed only by Walter Rodney's family and his brothers. They saw the marriage as one that could open up endless possibilities of permanently removing the PPP from government. Elements in both the middle class in general and the mulatto group pushed desperately for a ménage à trois between the PNC, WPA, and the AFC, a mixture of the three. And a ménage, a blending, a mixture, a combination. It was not by accident that the AFC was initially funded by one of the wealthiest Guyanese families. It was no accident also that only Indians from Berbice opposed the APNU and AFC merger. In reality, then the PPP's defeat in 2015 was a class battle. You see, it's not a race, it's not ethnicity, but class. Chetty Chicken spoke about this in his books, and his studies, that what we have and must concentrate on must not be ethnicity, but on class, because class is the poison and the danger. The petty bourgeois, in reality then, the PPP's defeat in 2015 was a class struggle, class battle, in which the mulatto group, the petty bourgeois and middle class Portuguese and Indians joined the working class PNC to topple the PPP. This columnist, that is Freddie Kissoon, supported the AFC. I reacted to the excesses of the Jagdeo Ramatar presidencies and wanted better for Guyana. That's the only reason, no other philosophy really, race or class. Freddie is a guy like that. I could not see that working class struggle would have been betrayed by the APNU AFC. None of us. We all thought they would have brought the panacea, the pancake of perfection for society, but they betrayed us. He couldn't see it too. They betrayed us because they start to look after only themselves and aggrandizement and turn a blind eye to the shenanigans of evil, deception, and fraud of their supporters within the grouping, not just the general supporters. Few money boys were getting the benefits, but not the mass of their supporters. He couldn't see that they would have been just betrayed by the APNU AFC. I have apologized to my country several times for my involvement in bringing down the Jagdeo and the Ramatar government. He's apologized because he realized now he made a mistake. I hereby apologize again. That's why I like the guy. And that's why I think the PPP government, this government, needs to give him a national award, a compensation for terminating his employment and his wife's employment and trying to put them in economic torture. This man needs a national award. Even if you think he's against you, he is for Guyana. And he doesn't have a particular political choice. And as I come to the end, space has run out. We will conclude in another column, but it is important to note that paranoia stepped in on March 13. People became paranoid, self-centered, lost in the evil that was to become. It looked like the PPP was coming back into power. The mulatto class and the middle class in general panicked. The mulatto class, the mixed class, fair skin, and the middle class, mostly fair skin, in general, panicked. Part 2 is coming. Let us listen and let us see. Another day, another time. Your friend, your brother, me, Haji, Dr. Roshan Khan, in the raw. RK's Guyana Free Media, saying thank you. Farewell, friends, for now.